Good morning, everybody. So it's a great pleasure for me to have the chance to entertain you now for about 30 minutes or so. And I want to start by thanking Teresa because she always speaks so nice about us. I don't think I can do an as good job as she did in explaining what we are doing, so I'm very grateful for that. But what I want to do the next 30 minutes or so is really telling you the story which Teresa has kind of already outlined to you. But I want to do two more things. I want to present you with an idea, a vision we have, and I want to see if that vision would resonate with you. And in the third part, I really want to see if you guys even could see yourself getting engaged somehow in making that vision reality. But before I go to the vision piece, I just wanted to take a second to introduce ourselves briefly. Who is Digital Divide Data? Or by the way, we just say DDD. That's much easier to say. So we are a not-for-profit organization. We are around since about 15 years. And the organization was founded by a gentleman called Jeremy Hockenstein, who's with us, who, by the way, is the CEO and the founder. And the focus really here is, being a social enterprise. So if you look at us from a business perspective, what we are doing essentially is providing BPO or IT services to customers around the globe. We are operating out of 4 different locations, 4 offices. Essentially, Kenya is the office Teresa has talked about, but we also have offices in Cambodia and Laos, South Asia. And we just couple of years ago, we introduced new offices here in Virginia, which I'm going to talk about it in a second. We are generating about $14 million revenues, which we're using to fund our social mission. And today we have approximately 1,000 young people who are employed by us. So we are a very small company. We are trying to do a very big impact. And over the last couple of years, we got several awards and recognitions, which we are for sure very proud of. I personally joined DDD just about 2 years ago. And as I was introduced, I did spend 25 years of my life in a BPO company, computer science. And I was at the point in my career where I said, running from earnings to earnings and going from quarterly reports to quarterly meetings, is that really what I want to do for the rest of my life? Is there nothing I can personally do to help, to do a little bit good for the world? And then I came across Jeremy's organization, which totally inspired me and intrigued me, because he was focusing over more than a decade already on developing young people. So I decided to let the commercial side go and started my life in the NGO community 2 years ago. And I have to say it was probably the most meaningful 2 years of my career. So when you look at us from the social angle, from our social mission, then the ultimate philosophy of DDD is and has always been to provide employment on one side, but then also to provide education and enable education for underserved communities. And when I say underserved communities, then it is really, when you look to Kenya or Asia, then it's really about young, very talented young people, but essentially very poor. Most of our students and employees in those regions are coming out of the slums. they do not have essentially any possibility for any education by themselves. So they have not a chance really to learn anything or become a meaningful job. And that's the population Teresa referred to, who are essentially living on $1 a day or sometimes even less than that. So we are really focusing on helping those students to get a higher education. We provide scholarships for them, and based on their education, then we create an opportunity for them really to have, way higher earnings and a way better life for themselves. If you look at our offices in Virginia, the principle is the same. We are focusing on employment and education, but here the target group is a little bit different. In Virginia, we are focusing on spouses, military spouses, who are following their husbands around the world, but also US veterans. Jeremy has created that organization, I think 4 or 5 years ago. That is rapidly growing as well, and we are focusing particularly on those target groups. So when you are providing BPO services or IT services like we do as the vehicle to fund your social mission, then you have many challenges, but one of the main challenges you have is really trying to stay relevant with the services you want to provide to your customers. So in the past, we have been largely providing, content management services, web and research services, but you have to keep pace with the industry and technology really to not become a commodity, and then you are forced down to only compete on the price. So we have been sitting down a year ago discussing what is really the next kind of skill sets we need to bring to our students so that we can provide a relevant service to our customers, but also maybe what could be a skill set which we can teach our students, which is way more relevant than the studies they do. You can imagine if you study business engineering in Kenya and you get your graduation and you enter into a market with 60% unemployment, your education is nice, but it's not really making the difference. So the idea was twofold, to say, what is the skill set which is going to be needed from a consumer perspective, and what is really skills which help our students to advance in life. And I said to my management team, clearly cloud is up there. Everything around the cloud is totally in demand and totally hip. And within the cloud, there's only one company who is really totally up there, that's Amazon, AWS. So why don't we go and create a center of excellence of AWS in Kenya, like Teresa said. So I remember that day because my management team was sitting there around the table and they were looking at me saying, what did this guy smoke this morning when he got out of bed? And they were right to some extent, because, as I described, our students are coming out of the slums. Now, these kids, and I respectfully always call them kids, they are all young adults, but essentially these kids, they do not have any exposure to technology. And some of them come to us and have not even seen a keyboard before, all right? So that is really the starting point which we have to start to educate our students. But we said, why should this undeserved population not also have the chance to participate on such a booming market like AWS? What kind of hinderings will we, are there to not help them to teach those skill sets? So he gave it a try and launched what we call the Academy in Kenya. We did this January this year. We picked basically randomly 30 of our students. We hired an AWS architect, an expert. Again, with the help of AWS, we found a young expert. He was based in South Africa. He was Kenyan, and he wanted to go back to Kenya, so we got the needed subject matter expertise on board. And then we started to design the curriculum. And as you can imagine, the standard curriculum didn't make it because our starting point was chosen to be so low. So we created the curriculum, which was a combination out of trainer-led sessions, web-based sessions. We did do a lot of teamwork sessions around, and we also used a lot of mock tests really to figure out, is the pace of our teaching, is it too fast? Do we need to slow down? So we really wanted to see how the students are going to pick up. Now, if any one of you have ever interacted with young people out of the slums, they may be poor, but they have one tremendous thing in common, and that is their desire to learn, their desire to promote themselves. And if you offer these kids an opportunity, they put 150% into it. So we run the program about 6 months. We could have been faster if we only wanted them to pass the test, but we really wanted to give them a competence. So prepare them really to, provide a job in the future, not just to pass the test. So coming June, we started to get them through the official certification process. And I can tell you, I had no idea what's going to come out. I know I had a call with the kids and said, look, guys, be relaxed. Whatever is going to come out of this, it was a great journey, and we will see. And you just don't feel bad if it doesn't work out. And I can tell you, we had the first wave, I think it was 15 or so, went through. Vast majority passed the certification test, and they just didn't just pass. I saw the results. It was 98%, 97%, 95%. They really nailed it. And we had a couple of guys who didn't make it in the first tour just because they were too excited. They were too nervous. So we had the second round, and pretty much beginning of August, all of them got their certification. This had by far exceeded all my personal imaginations. I thought if I can get 10 out of 30 through a program like this, that would be, for me, already enough proof of concept that you can take leading edge technologies and bring them into the poorest part of the world and train people on them, and they learn them as quick as anybody else would. Why not? But all the 30, and you can imagine the excitement of our students, because don't get mistaken, they are smart, and they realize that this certification for them is probably, for their life perspective, way, way more important than the university degree they are about to get. So our kids were totally excited by this experience. Now, as you can hear, I'm not Native American, I'm German. And my team always says about Germans, they are not really emotional. And so they said, Frank, we need to give you a video to show the video so people can see a little bit more the personal side and can maybe get a bit engaged with our students. So can we please roll the video?
From an early age, I was having this interest in computers. I used to sneak into the neighboring schools to the computer labs. Technology is fit for any person.
Amazon Web Service Cloud Academy main mission is to build capacity. We are here to work with disadvantaged, but yet talented youth.
DDD give us that opportunity to have a school work program. You get experience in work, at the same time you get exposed to school.
It's really hard work, but it was really helpful for me because it enabled me to get into the industry straight and practice what I learned.
Being in a male-dominated area, as a woman in technology, I get that exposure.
The training program ran for 6 months. They are not only going to know the traditional IT technology, they are also going to learn cloud-based technology, and also communication skill, development skill, teamwork, all those kind of aspects are incorporated in the program.
In this industry, where we are heading, it's in the cloud, a platform whereby you can deploy any infrastructure.
So it's going to position them to be industry players. It's going to help them advance their career path.
DDD Cloud Academy has produced the first group of certified individuals, so it's a very good thing to have now. It's a privilege in this country.
I can work with any firm, anywhere, in any project that I can handle. I hope to become a system administrator.
I'm a graduate in information technology. I'm also an AWS system admin certified. My passion is web development.
The future plans of Amazon Web Services Academy, first of all, is to grow, to train more talented local Kenyan youth where we can grow skill set and establish such a center of excellence in Kenya.
So, thank you. So, 2 months ago, I said to Maureen and another lady that I bring them to this event, and I think they haven't slept for 10 weeks or something, so excited. But then, unfortunately, we couldn't get the paperwork done, so they couldn't make it here this time, but re-event is around the corner. But all the kids said to me, I really should express my thanks to Teresa and the NGO team around Marco, because they also realized that without your help, without your support, and all the advice you gave us until that point, it wouldn't have been possible. So they said, Frank, if you go there, make sure you say thank you on behalf of all of us. Oh yeah, they are very proud. I think they're wearing them 24/7, the Amazon t-shirts. So I love when Maureen says technology is fit for anybody and we are capable. I love this sentence. And the other thing I love when she says, for me in a male-dominated world. And tech is still, I would say, a male-dominated world. But even more so when you go to Kenya or those places, everything is still male-dominated. So imagine this young lady is going to be one of the first technology leaders in Kenya. I have no idea where she's going to end in 10 or 15 years, but the one thing I'm sure is that this little initiative here is for sure going to change and transform her life, as hopefully so with all the others. So I'm, as you can see, I'm very impressed about what these students have been doing. So much to the story. Now to the vision. Since we have finalized this pilot, which was really more to prove if that is possible, you can imagine we got quite a lot of exposure and quite popularity around this academy, and particularly amongst our students. They call me kind of every week, Frank, when is my turn? When is my turn? When I'm on? But also particularly in Kenya, again with the help of Amazon, we got a lot of public exposure there through the local media outlets. And a question I'm always asked when I go there or any other places, okay, Frank, what is the next step? Where are you going to take this? What are your next plans? And we have been discussing over the last couple of weeks, how do we really use the momentum? And I personally, having seen what can be done, and I can tell you we also have quite a set of lessons learned. So we know how to improve our curriculum. I think we could probably be a little bit faster. I think we could probably reduce the cost for the program. So beside the fact that the program already worked, I think there's still a lot of room to improve this program. And given that something which is already good can be done even way better, I personally see absolutely no reason why we could bring a program like this to 1,000 people. Now, the one single most biggest challenge is not to find the young people who are talented and to train them. That, I think, is already a tick in the box. The problem will not be the funding and the financing, and I'm going to talk about this. You know, I have seen clearly that to take this risk is actually essentially 100% certainty, so there's no risk. The single biggest problem we have is really to bring those young, talented people into work. You know, to provide them a meaningful way to apply their skills. They are talented, but that they are not experienced. So we need to find homes for them that they can start and get some experience, apply their expertise, and find really a place where they can get employed by that. Now, the good thing here is, I would say, we are starting, you know, this program as such basically here and now. That means that the final design of the program is going to be something which we can influence, so we can shape it. And we just talked about it. We maybe even can reverse engineer it in the way that we just don't produce skills as we did right now and then see where we can place those young adults, but that we look at where's the demand and then taking the demand and go back and develop the related skill sets. So, as I said before, we got a lot of help to establish a program like this. And on the left side, you see just a set of institutions who are supporting us in various ways. So I can tell you here and now, and Jeremy as well, as you know, I would not be concerned about funding a program for 1,000 people. I would not be concerned in going to make all the investments, to take the financial risks, to find you know, the needs to implement a program like that. And we have done it, and we will do it before. So I'm pretty convinced that that can be done. The challenge, as I said before, is really providing employment. And our good friends from Vision Spring were the first ones who jumped in and said, okay, you know, we give them stuff to work on, they can really apply their skills. And I know that we are having conversations with several of you or some of you. But this is really the side where I think where we look at the NGO community and all of you to see really if we can join forces here and see if we can somehow find a way to make this idea real. And that's really the point where I come to, maybe you can see yourself getting engaged into this program, maybe you can see yourself finding a way to make this real. We kind of thought about various ways on, you know, how to orchestrate the execution of this program, and there are for sure various ways. You know, one approach could really be that, you know, if institutions are out there who need special skill sets around AWS, that, you know, we are going to essentially act as an education institution. We are going to select the students, we are going to teach them, we are bringing them to a point that they would be qualified to do the job they are supposed to or they're designed for. And then basically hand you or the institutions, these individuals over and then become part of their own organization. So essentially a train to hire approach where we basically do the entire training and then institution can take ready skilled people. Or the other approach could also be what we are doing pretty much as a day-to-day work is we are going to educate the students and if you have particularly demands around what kind of skills and support you need, we then basically would provide you that support as a managed service on a utility model. You you use the service as long as you need, and then we can move on. So there's various ways really how I think a program like this could be orchestrated. The big challenge we really have, and I will spend some time with the NGO team over the next couple of days, is as I said, on one side we have this huge demand around AWS skill sets out in the world, and on the other side we could create a significant sourcing pool. What we need to figure out is really what kind of mechanism do we need to put in the middle of those two, to really support each other. And I think that shouldn't be impossible. And if we are capable to do so, I think we can provide opportunity for thousands or even more than that young individuals, and allowing them really to participate in a market they would have never ever the chance to participate as well. Tech can solve all kind of problems, and I hope you found the last 20-some minutes interesting. Again, I believe that we have a unique opportunity here to use tech really to change people's lives. And everybody of you who had the chance ever to see the circumstances of young people living in the slums, you would appreciate, enabling them with a vision which is totally different to, what is probably not imaginable for us from a living standard, and help them into better lives. All right, so thank you very much for giving me the chance here to present this idea to you. I know we are 2 more days together. I'm around for questions. I think we can take some questions now, or I'm not sure about the timing.
Sure, yeah, we have time for a question or two. Does anyone have oh, we got one right here.
Thank you so much for your presentation. So I'm not far away from Kenya. I am from Eritrea, Northeast Africa. So I want to applaud the imagination that you had, and you turned it into an action. What I love about your process is that you already identified the students, and then you're training them. I really want to applaud you for coming here and looking for jobs for them. That's very unusual. So I just want to say thank you for the platform and for believing in these children. Whether they are in slums or anywhere in Africa, they're as bright as anyone, and believing that's very, very key to their success. The next question for you is, which is the next country in Africa that you're looking into? Thank you.
Thank you very much for this comment. As I said before, the last 2 years was the most fulfilled years in my career. So that's really because we do not have any defined plans in terms of going to different locations right now. So we are well established in Kenya, and we are using that footprint right now really to build, continue to build our educational approach. But I would be totally open, if anybody of you is here and say, look, I have a particular country where the same principles apply, that either we go there and do it, or we share what we have done as a blueprint with you. I think this experience is really there to be shared and used and replicated. So I would be totally open if there's a desire to do this somewhere else, we go there, and I'm pretty sure the principles we have been proving here, they're universal. I'm pretty sure they pretty much apply everywhere.
All right, we're almost at time. Teresa's got a question.
Well, more of a statement. So I just wanted to say one of the things that we've been talking about, and we would really love your thoughts. When I go around the world, the big thing I hear from all of our customers is they need job skills for cloud. I mean, this is like just a trend. They need job skills. So one of the things that we've been talking about is backing into this. So basically what we'll do is we'll talk to our customers and say, what skills, and we sort of know, but what skills specifically do you need? And then we'll use the academy approach as a way to train and educate and then fill those jobs, and then use it, do like an internship program and let them do it for 6 to 12 months, and then the employer can hire. So I think what Frank and I would love your thoughts and ideas on are skills even you may need in your mission, customers of yours. If there are skills, tell us, and then we'll work on a pipeline to get to disadvantaged youth. And this is just one program where Frank and the team, DDD, I'll do DDD, so you see it sounds really funny coming from this accent. But then maybe we can scale it. Maybe we can think really big on this and scale it globally. But this is something, we have a jobs board, we have an AWS Educate team that when our students around the world get certified or badged on AWS, we have a jobs board. And our partners like Intel Corporation, Salesforce, Amazon, we're putting our jobs up there. See, California, here Polytech is here. We've talked about doing that with them and their students. But an example is anything you all have, we would love to know. Do y'all agree? Like if you all have an idea, you need the jobs, let us know, because we just want to start connecting. I call it my Tinder for job matching. Everybody laughs, but I really sort of would like to figure out how we take and just job match in the right way. Because again, I hear it all the time from our customers. I just need more help. So let's keep the momentum going, and hopefully maybe we can just keep a dialogue going about creating the right job skills around our customer set. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Very helpful. And I just want to maybe add one part on it, and then I'm done. Because Teresa said this morning, what the earnings are. I can tell you one thing, that I have been heading up global workforces, so I know the price points around the world. But the price points you find in Africa and in those places are incomparable. So you get unbelievable talent to a price point which is also unbelievable. But that's not really the point. It just is an add-on. The point is really that we provide opportunities. All right, thank you very much for having me this morning. Thank you.